Karl Konrad and welcome to the weekly edition of Australian Immigration News. This channel is proudly brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services right here in Sydney. As far as we know, no invitation rounds happened this week for any of the skilled point visas. Even the ACT has not issued another round, with their last being on the 14th of July. Fingers crossed to see what happens next week. The good news, however, is for the 191 visa applicants. Processing has begun and a number have been granted already, and it's about time, and thanks to those who wrote in to our comments section. In relation to our news edition covering the long processing times for the 309 visa, the department went to its social media Facebook account to counter that negative story. They published these figures on partner visa processing. Yes, they are not recent figures, but I guess they thought they had to do something to look good. And the numbers look impressive, but until we receive word on when the 309 processing times are going to come down significantly, we will keep hammering them to do better. By the way, the petition to sign regarding the delays in 309 processing is up to 1139 as of Friday. However, we can do better than this. Please go to the description of this video and copy the link and help out to sign. Now the aged care labour agreement is in place. Many people are looking for jobs in that field with approved sponsors. This latest FOI release gives the names of companies which now have labour agreements in place. The Immigration Department is yet to update this information because, as they advise on their website, this list will be updated quarterly. No rush to keep us all informed then. So off you go. Time to knock on their door and see if they have positions that need to be filled with possible sponsorship in the aged care sector. For those of you interested in moving to Australia using the skilled visas, take a look at this government website called Smart Move Australia. They also have a slick promotional video on people finding their dream lives here.
If you're dreaming of Australia, don't stop.
Give yourself the opportunity to experience this beautiful country.
Australia is a place to have your dream career. Working in Australia is so inspiring.
It's enough to make you rush out and book that plane ticket straight away. The site gives a good overall summary of the EOI process, much better than the Immigration Department pages. Just click on the register button and it leads you to that information. Check it out and start pursuing that dream. Regarding our story about Daryl and his Australian citizen son Bronson, the ABC has followed up with a similar circumstance. Andrea, the Italian father of an Australian citizen child, is appealing to the minister to be able to stay in Australia and help raise his 9-year-old son Marley. The story again highlights the need for the minister to create a visa pathway for parents of Australian citizen children who have temporary residency here. There should not be the need for the parents to wait for years for a minister's intervention decision and all the uncertainty and heartache that such waiting creates. Our Australian citizen children deserve better than this, and a direct visa pathway must be made available. Now, regarding these recent stories of the rights of Australian children, many viewers are uncertain about how did these children obtain their citizenship. In the story about Daryl, his partner was an Australian citizen, so of course the child Bronson was a citizen by birth. In most cases though, many children born in Australia and live here can apply for citizenship after they turn 10 years of age. Now, it does not require the child to have spent all of those 10 years in Australia. They may have been sent home to live with the grandparents for some time, but the parents remained in Australia. You can find out more details about these scenarios by continuing to watch these series of stories. And we also have an old video about this, and I'll leave a link at the end of this one. Now, remember a while back I mentioned Western Australia is trying to find more construction-related occupations to migrate there. They offer significant financial incentives for the 59 occupations they are looking for. You can see here on the Western Australian list, there are various visa pathways for these occupations through the 482, 494, 186, 190 and 491 visas. We'll leave a link to this list in the description below. These occupations are on priority to receive invitations through the 190 and 491 visas. This means it is likely if you have an expression of interest in the system for a state-sponsored visa and indicated you would like WA sponsorship, there may be a good chance of obtaining an invitation to apply to Western Australia. Onshore and offshore applicants have equal opportunities of being selected, Now, if your occupation is on the list, then you do not need an employment contract for the 190 visa sponsorship. The 491 visa does not require an employment contract anyway. So for those of you who have or can obtain a skill assessment in one of these occupations, then consider Western Australia as your possible destination. The Australian newspaper reports that the Immigration Minister is quietly intervening in hundreds of refugee claims because case officers failed in their responsibility to assess all the facts at hand. In particular, the Immigration Department refused applications just 3 months before the Taliban took over the whole country. Immigration case officers made this comment: "While I have accepted there have been security incidents, the evidence before me does not support that the Afghan government or security forces are losing control of the Nawar district." And we all know how accurate that statement turned out to be. On Tuesday, the Immigration Minister Andrew Giles announced that submissions for the government's Multicultural Framework Review are now open. It's open to everyone to make a written submission, an audio recording, or perhaps even a video. Minister Giles said in a press conference this week, "We really want to hear from a range of voices sharing their lived experiences, their views on what is working well and what could be improved to advance our multicultural nation." So here's your chance, everyone. Say your part in what you think living in Australia has been like. You do not even have to make that submission in English. You are able to use your own language. Submissions close on the 29th of September. And now it's time again for this week's reader's comment. Tom writes in and says, "While my Australian co-workers can't wait for the weekend to watch sports and get drunk, I just can't wait to grab a glass of Shiraz and watch the new episode of Karl Konrad Immigration News. What a legend you are." Cheers, Tom. I'll drink to that. Now, as you gathered, no major changes for this week to report, but stay tuned for you never know when a big event is around the corner. Don't forget, if you need help, we are always here. You can book a time for a consultation on our website, but if it's urgent, you can just pick up the phone and we'll try and fit you in. As always, take care out there and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.